Ever feel like you're constantly battling your own mind? Like you're trying to force yourself to be positive, to ignore the nagging doubts, or pretend everything's perfect when it really isn't? If you've ever tried to just willpower your way to feeling better, you're not alone. But what if I told you that true, lasting inner peace has absolutely nothing to do with forcing a smile or pushing away your feelings? It's not about battling every negative thought that pops into your head or trying to build some kind of impenetrable wall against the world. The real secret to feeling unshakable, to ensuring that nothing and no one can constantly pull you down, lies in something much deeper. Something that many people miss because they're so busy looking for solutions out there, in external circumstances, in other people, even in quick fixes. But the truth is, the only real and lasting change happens from within. Think about those people you know, the ones who seem to glide through life with an incredible sense of calm, no matter what hits them. They face tough times, losses, moments of total uncertainty, yet they remain centered and grounded. Meanwhile, others seem to be constantly on edge, overwhelmed by their emotions and reactions, even in everyday situations. Is it just luck? Is it their personality? Or is there a hidden principle, a key difference between those who truly master their inner world and those who feel constantly controlled by it? Well, here's where a lot of us get it wrong. We tend to believe that reality is just objective, that things simply happen, and our emotions are just an automatic, unavoidable consequence of those external events. But the truth, and this might be a game changer for you, is that everything you experience, absolutely everything, is filtered through the way you interpret life. It's shaped by the beliefs you've held onto for years, often without even realizing it, and by the emotions you've never quite learned how to truly manage. Imagine you're wearing tinted glasses. No matter what the world looks like in its true colors, you're always seeing it through that specific filter. And if that filter is clouded by fear, resentment, or guilt, then that's exactly what the world will reflect back to you. Not because life is inherently unfair, but because you simply can't see beyond what's going on inside you. But here's the crucial point, the secret that often gets overlooked. It's not about avoiding pain or escaping difficult emotions altogether. It's not about becoming some kind of emotionless robot, immune to everything happening around you. Instead, it's about something much more profound, transforming the meaning you assign to each experience. It's about reprogramming the very way you perceive reality and learning to turn every single emotion, even the uncomfortable ones, into a powerful tool for growth, rather than a heavy burden that keeps you stuck. The truth is, reality isn't something that's just imposed upon you. It's something you actively interpret. And when you truly understand this, when you learn to take control of that interpretation, you unlock an incredible power. The ability to choose how you respond to any situation. In that moment, you become truly free. So, today I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. Not with abstract theories or complicated jargon, but with practical principles that have been used by those who have achieved a deep and lasting inner peace. A serenity that doesn't depend on external circumstances or other people's approval. You'll discover how to transform fear into clarity, how to make even negative emotions work for you instead of against you, and how to reach a state of unshakable serenity, no matter what life throws your way. What you're about to understand has the potential to change everything. But it requires something from you, a willingness to look within yourself, to question everything you've taken as truth up until now. Because in the end, it's not what happens to you that determines your peace. It's the way you choose to experience it. And when you discover how to transform that process, you'll realize that nothing and no one will ever affect you in the same way again. Imagine for a moment what your life would be like if you could simply remove those invisible glasses that distort your perception, allowing you to experience the world without the heavy weight of your fears, your limiting beliefs, and those long-repressed emotions. The human mind is like a complex labyrinth, a vast inner space where every thought, every reaction, and every emotion is shaped by deep layers that we rarely explore consciously. Carl Jung, the visionary psychoanalyst, understood this better than perhaps anyone else. He famously described the psyche as an iceberg. The small, visible part above the water represents our conscious mind, the thoughts and feelings we're immediately aware of. But beneath the surface lies a vast, often uncharted subconscious, a massive territory where our past experiences, traumas, insecurities, and, importantly, our projections onto the world are stored. Jung believed that what we do not make conscious governs us. Think about that for a moment. Everything we ignore within ourselves, everything we push down or refuse to acknowledge, doesn't simply disappear. Instead, it manifests in our reality, often in ways that feel like an inevitable fate, like we're just destined to experience certain problems over and over again. Think about how fear, a powerful emotion, can infiltrate your life often without you even realizing it. Cleverly disguises itself. Maybe it shows up as doubt, that little voice whispering, "Are you really good enough to try that new thing?" Or perhaps it hides in procrastination, that tendency to put off what you truly desire because you're secretly afraid of failing. It can even manifest in your relationships, where you might find yourself giving too much, constantly trying to please others, simply because you fear rejection or loneliness. But Jung taught us that fear, just like any other emotion, isn't some kind of enemy to be banished. Instead, he saw it as a disguised teacher, a signal pointing to something within you that still needs to be acknowledged, understood, and integrated. But what do most people do when they feel fear, or sadness, or anger? Instead of listening to these signals, they fight against their emotions. They suppress what they feel, trying to convince themselves that they shouldn't be sad, they shouldn't get angry, that they always need to be strong. And this is where the real problem often begins because, as the saying goes, what you resist persists. A repressed emotion doesn't just vanish. It becomes a weight you carry around daily, a subtle voice whispering in the background of your mind, a blockage that keeps you from truly moving forward, often without you even being consciously aware of it. Imagine a storm. The wind is blowing fiercely. The rain is coming down with intensity. The sky is dark. You try to resist it, to push back against the wind with your bare hands, to stop the rain, to somehow contain the immense force of nature. But the more you fight it, the more exhausted you become. The storm doesn't stop because you resist it. It stops when you allow it to pass. This is how our minds often work. Every emotion you feel is like a passing storm, not a permanent sentence. But most people remain trapped in this cycle of trying to control what they feel, constantly in fear of facing what's inside them. Instead of listening to their emotions, they try to silence them with distractions, endless work, constant entertainment, fleeting relationships that only provide temporary comfort, all the while continuing to avoid what truly needs to be seen and understood. But what if, instead of fighting your emotions, you simply stopped? What if, instead of ignoring your sadness, you actually observed it like a scientist studying a phenomenon? What if, instead of hiding your fear, you gently asked it, "What are you trying to tell me?" Because every emotion, even the most uncomfortable ones, carries a hidden message. Sadness often signals that something needs to be released, an attachment that no longer serves you, an expectation that wasn't met, a part of you that needs to be freed. Fear often reveals limiting beliefs, those deeply rooted ideas that you're not enough, that you don't deserve what you desire, that failure is something to be avoided at all costs. And even anger, which we so often try to suppress, is actually a powerful reminder that your boundaries are being crossed, that something in your environment is not respecting your true self. When you start seeing your emotions not as obstacles to overcome, but as valuable guides offering important information, something profound within you begins to shift. And when your inner world changes, your external world inevitably follows. Now, let's think about a specific situation. Now, think of a situation where you normally react automatically. Perhaps it's an argument with someone close to you, a conflict at work, a moment when you feel insecure or attacked. Instead of acting on that immediate impulse, try this pause. Take a breath. Observe the scene as if you were a spectator, someone watching from the outside without any emotional attachment. Ask yourself, which part of me is reacting right now? Is it truly this external situation that's affecting me? Or is it something within me that was already there, just waiting to be triggered? The answers to these simple questions can completely change the way you live. Because when you understand that what happens outside only has power over you if something inside allows it, you begin to regain control. Jung spoke of the concept of the silent observer, that part of your consciousness that doesn't get carried away by emotions or external circumstances, that calm space within you that remains steady no matter what's happening around you. When you learn to access that part of your mind, you discover that nothing and no one has the power to truly affect you unless you grant them that power. Every time something destabilizes you, it's not because the world is unfair or because people are intentionally trying to hurt you. It's because there's something within you that still needs to be acknowledged, understood, and worked through. And in that realization lies the true key to achieving unshakable peace, not in trying to change the external world, but in transforming how you experience it. When you master this, those emotional storms no longer scare you, because you understand that they are temporary and that behind each one lies an opportunity for growth and deeper self-understanding. And if you really analyze your thoughts, you'll likely notice that many of them aren't even truly yours. They were absorbed at some point in your life, perhaps from your upbringing or societal conditioning, and unknowingly adopted as absolute truths. Here's the liberating truth: you don't have to keep holding on to them. Imagine for a moment that starting today you decide to change the narrative. Instead of constantly repeating to yourself, "I'm not enough," you begin to integrate the idea that you have always been capable, that the only thing that has held you back is the story you've been telling yourself. Carl Jung taught us that the unconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It simply responds to the programming we feed it. If you start nourishing your mind with beliefs that empower you, your external reality will inevitably begin to reflect that positive change. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that true and lasting inner peace isn't some mystical state reserved for a select few. It's a skill, a practice, a journey of self-discovery. It's about learning to understand your inner world, to embrace all your emotions, even the uncomfortable ones, as valuable messengers, and to take responsibility for how you interpret and respond to the world around you. If you're ready to start taking control of your inner world and experience a life with more calm, more clarity, and more unshakable peace, then I encourage you to take that first step today. Start by simply observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment. Ask yourself those powerful questions we talked about. And remember, the journey to inner peace begins within. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might find it helpful. What are some of the biggest challenges you face in managing your emotions? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insights and practical tools for personal growth and emotional well-being. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.